Hello and welcome to Bible FPL. Basically, just a bit of a freestyle chat. This one. I just felt like I needed to address this slash talk about it a little bit because fantasy football can be a game that can be really fun and it can be a game that become really stressful very quickly if you sort of spend too much time like stressing about it, particularly when it comes to early team leagues. And I've had an experience today where I kind of want to share like there's differences to how a day could have panned out if you're someone like me and you take fantasy football fairly seriously. And the team leagues for me over the years have definitely been more stressful than what it's been worth. And I genuinely think over the years I've lost more points from the team leagues than gained. And more importantly, yeah, like I said, I've lost more kind of joy in terms of mental health and stuff by spending time looking at teammates than like actually really benefiting from them, being really pleased I hung around. And I think today was a prime example where even though a leak came out 10 minutes before the deadline that was correct in the end with Foden and Haaland being benched, just the stress levels even that caused. Like I watched back this so basically just in a nutshell, so with my team, I said to myself before, like an hour or so before the deadline, say like I had a day with the family, and I was like, I wanna spend the day with the family, and I don't want fantasy football to negatively affect it, basically. And I was like, right, I'm gonna make my decisions on my team. I've seen enough sort of rumors and stuff around potential people starting or not starting, and who's nailed and who's not nailed. And basically, on the Bible FPL team, I had Semenyo, and I came to place a piece that actually I want to captain Semenyo because he's the most likely to start. On the main team, I didn't really have an alternative captain to Haaland. That I came to place a piece that I'm going to captain Haaland. He could well start and do well. If he doesn't start, he could come off the bench and score. I could get my vice captain in, whatever. Like, I made peace of it. I made my transfer last night of Bruno Fernandes. I announced on Twitter at like what 7 to 10, I think it was, my teams I'd locked in, and that was it. I locked it in. I shared my team, and I turned off social media, and I spent time with my family. And I think the title of the thumbnail slash the title of the video is something like "Why I Had a Good Day." And it's because I turned off my Twitter and my football scores at 9:53 this morning, and I left it and I spent time with the family, and I left the team, I left the fantasy football as it was, and I thought I'm going to find out at the end of the day what happened. And I've had a really good day because of it. Basically, I had a lovely time with my family. I wasn't worrying about fantasy football. I was like, I've left it in a place I felt at peace with. Let's find out how it went at the end of the day. And I'm not saying this from a point of view of like, oh, I've like, I don't know, learned how to play life from this sort of super, guy that puts his family first and stuff. Like, I'm talking from a place where I have many times in the past spent time looking at the team leak, stressing before the deadline, trying to see what happened. Even last week, I was sort of like hanging around a bit, and it affected things. And I just thought, no, let's do it right this week. And I'm really pleased I did. And I kind of wanted to share the encouragement that I think a lot of you that play fantasy football and are probably, even watching these videos, maybe ones that, yeah, like hang around for team leaks and, make last minute decisions based on those things. And the thing is, like, even with those leaks that were correct in the end, just think of all the different things. Like I watched back FPL Harry's last 10 minutes before the deadline came in, and I just watched it back, and it was just literally just 10. It was 10 minutes of stress for him leading up to the deadline, but then after the deadline, he was just sat there like trying to process what he'd done, and also then even then it's like, okay, you've had this leak, you may have ended up locking in transfers that you're like, okay, I think I'm happy enough with based on the leak, but then you're stressing for the next like what 2.5 hours waiting to see if the leak was actually true. And if the leak comes through that it wasn't true, and you see that Haaland was starting and Foden was starting, and you rush to sub them out for a hit or just transfer them out anyway, you're sat there just like feeling even worse. And then you've got another hour and a half until the game kicks off, and then you've got potentially 2 hours of I'm now hoping these guys don't punish me. And can you hear like that is already half the day of you just feeling stressed in terms of like the leak, in terms of what you've done, in terms of is the leak going to be true? And now am I going to get punished for it? Or is it going to pay off what I've done? And even then, like I had a mate that saw the leak, he made transfers accordingly, but he rushed a couple of transfers that in hindsight he was like, oh, I kind of panicked and I made them. And then he took out Van Dijk, who scored tonight. And it was just like, even though he took out some players and changed his captaincy from Haaland in a way that worked, he still did things that, didn't pay off, and there was still a lot of stress from the whole thing. And it's just like, my point is, I don't know if it's worth it. And my other point is, I suppose the deadline's there for a reason, isn't it? Like they do an 11 a.m. deadline for a 12:30 p.m. kickoff because in theory you shouldn't get any lineups until half an hour later. So everyone has the same information to work with. And I actually think there's a healthiness around that. Like I'm not talking about sort of being super holy and saying you need to abide by the rules. As much as I've been burnt many times in almost looking at leaks, and I sometimes wonder if there's a little bit of karma, if you like, from like scrounging for the leaks. But it's more so just the like just the mental health side of things. It's the let's just lock in a team based on the info we have, and then just let it be. So yeah, I kind of wanted to share that, and hopefully you can kind of hear where I'm coming from. Like I've had a really good day in my family, and I've come back and I've reviewed fantasy football this evening, and I've processed it when I've had time to, like when the child's gone to bed, and I've got some time to like look watch the highlights and see the scores and soak it all in and enjoy whatever returns I got, and console myself on whichever ones I didn't, but without just a full day just full of stress alongside that. And like, yeah, there's many weeks in the past where I've just had my whole day just feeling stressed, thinking about fantasy football, what decisions I've done, what I haven't done, and particularly when it comes to team leagues, so yeah, like what last minute things I've done and forced and that sort of thing. So yeah, I kind of wanted to put it out there because I think I can imagine a lot of people get affected by this, particularly looking online and social media and Twitter and my own experiences, like, and even people like Stevo that have quit FPL completely. Like, I know this is an area that can add to FPL stress massively. And I just wanted to share my experience of actually the difference I've had today in terms of my enjoyment of the day and still enjoying fantasy football this evening and still enjoying the planning leading up to the deadlines compared to if I was sat around looking for leaks and then spending all day worrying about the leaks and what I did with my transfers. It's been a polar opposite experience. And ultimately life should be a thing that we enjoy more than we don't. We don't, and fantasy football we get more enjoyment out of it than stress. And I think the team leaks just add a massive weight of stress and rob of enjoyment away from things. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share. I'm happy, yes, because I captained Semenyo on the Bible FPL team and he did well, but that was not the source of my happiness today. Like I've come home and I found out tonight, oh, Semenyo's returned, like brilliant. But on the Bible, on the main team, like I captained Haaland and I left it at that, and he got 1 point double to two, and it's like I'm at peace with it. I was at peace going into the deadline. It is what it is. Bible FPL team did well with captaincy, main team didn't. I'm at peace with it because I went into the deadline at peace with my decisions and I was happy leaving it there, spending time with the family. You get the message. Obviously, it's been nice for the Mukiele assist in there. I've had a Donna McLeaner on the main team. The Bowen return was really lovely. I'm pleased I've stuck faith with Bowen. I'll do a proper team review in the coming days for these teams and my look ahead to game week 24 because it's a huge fixture swing this week. So yeah, there'll be a lot of things to talk about leading into that. But yeah, for now, I'll leave it there. I just wanted to share some stuff really on the team leaks, the mental sort of health side of things when it comes to that with fantasy football. And I do hope you found what I've shared helpful, and maybe some of you can resonate. And next time there's an opportunity to look for team leaks, or maybe even the next deadline, you think to yourselves, actually, yeah, I want to try that. I'm going to lock my team in early and leave it and enjoy the day. And yeah, I really pray that you can also find it as a way of maybe enjoying the days more, enjoying the weekends more, not getting so stressed by fantasy football. There might be weekends you're like, actually, I want to look at the leaks today, and that's helpful. I'm not saying you don't have to look at leaks, but I just wanted you to hear my experience and actually how I definitely think there's weekends where it makes sense to just not look for them. And for me, that was definitely one of them this weekend. So yeah, I'll leave it there before the video's too long. But thanks for watching. Do like and subscribe if you like more of these type of videos where I talk about FPL mental health and also Bible related content and just fantasy football chat in general. I cover sort of lots of things on this channel. So yeah, thanks so much for the support on it. It's all really appreciated, and I do hope what I've shared has been helpful. And for now, yeah, I'll leave it there, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.